Hey, and like I was saying before, if the Warriors get back Wiggins, their starting lineup is straight. And now DiVincenzo has been playing great basketball. So if you have DiVincenzo coming off with the second unit, with Gary Payton, with Jordan Poole, with Kuminga, with those guys, their depth is much better than it was last year. Because DiVincenzo is underrated, and he has been hooping. He has been hooping indeed. Hey, bro, you remember what they were saying about Klay to start the season, right? You remember what they're saying? You remember the allegations? Klay's washed. Klay's washed. Klay's never going to be the same Klay again. He just had a shooting slump, bro. That's all it was. He had a shooting slump. A shooting slump. He just had to shoot his way out of it. And everyone wanted to be so quick to jump and say Klay's never going to be the same Klay again. I don't hear y'all no more, bro. They're all in sync. They're all clicking. The amount of gravity that not only Steph has, but Klay has as well, is just automatic. Boom, he sees two, drops it off. Looney comes here, sees three. Kick out. Draymond tried to get that through. DiVincenzo got it. Boom, Steph here. Now Steph's got so much gravity. Look at all the help, all the eyes that he got on him. He's still not the same defensively. He can still guard. He's not going to guard the best player every single night, but he can still guard. But look at all the eyes. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're like all just honed in on him. Powell said forget it. Kleber said forget it. They forget about Draymond. This gravity could carry them throughout the entire playoffs. Forget the schemes, forget the game plans. The gravity alone, literally just running actions, running split actions and whatnot, could power their offense through to win the championship. Now peep Steph hedge right here. Peep his hedge. Now the thing when you hedge, if you get out too wide and try to make this hedge, you're gonna leave up a gap right here in between for the player to split it. Luka, boom, right here, goes underneath his legs, round the back. So boom, if you try to make that hedge out a little too wide, player's gonna see that, and then boom, they're gonna split it. So you gotta time that hedge properly as they begin to come off that screen, as they're closer to that screener. Instead of waiting until they get far away from it, then you hedge, and now they have a gap. Gravity, bro. It's ridiculous. You would think that since people know he's so good off the ball and such a good shooter, they would want to tighten up even more. But no, they still make lapses. They still make errors because he's like, it just surpasses that, bro. Their first thing to do is say, I got to stop Steph. All the time. They forget to communicate. They just tell themselves, I got to get Steph. And by the way, I live stream all my breakdowns. So if you want to see these videos a day or two early, or got any questions for me, want me to watch your film, make sure you go hit that link in the description, go follow, and also subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Let's get right back to it. Ridiculous. Like, Kuminga's just getting open rolls to the rim, and nobody's gonna jump with Kuminga. You don't want to get put on a poster. You don't want to jump with Kuminga, bro. Nobody does. But you see, plays like this is what's going to defeat them. As we've seen in past years, as we've seen since 2015, turnovers. And especially ones like this where it's just goofy and it's just like, this turnover doesn't need to happen. You know, and on top of that, it's a bad pass. So it's like, damn, we just threw that ball away. And since the Warriors offense has so much movement, now these turnovers begin to get contagious. Because the more passing there is, the more chances you're going to have of throwing turnovers. And so now one person gets bad habits, one person starts feeling down, they're not flowing as well because everybody's got to be flowing, everybody's got to be in the same space. So if somebody's getting a few turnovers, it gets contagious. Boom, before you know it, they have 10 turnovers at halftime or 13 at halftime. Then you're down double digits type thing. And now right here, Jeff Van Gundy said something interesting. He said, why don't you just take that person playing Draymond, drop them all the way back to clog up those lanes? But then that made me think you don't have to drop that player all the way back. What if you took a defender and just closed off the middle lanes so he can't see or pass anything through that middle? Because anytime he's going to make a pass right here to like the player that's cutting, that's slipping, it's going to be towards this middle. So if this player plays on his top side, now you're opening up that baseline, but now you're getting rid of that split action, that ability to slip completely. And I was just worrying about getting that player who gets over top of that screen. So even though you're going to take a baseline, he may spin off of you. It may still be, if that's your game plan, you want Draymond to try to beat you, Draymond to try to go and score, then by any means, that's what you should do. Hey, and that was Steph's first bucket of the game. His first shot attempt, his first bucket. You know what I'm saying? But this right here shows you that in transition, players are the most vulnerable. They're the most vulnerable because Steph turns back and Kuminga is trailing on the play. But yet he still fools Justin Holiday. When you're playing this fast, when you see things coming at you so quick, it's hard for players to process. We all know, we all hoop, we all get in these situations. It's hard to process all these things. So it's best you take advantage of these players who aren't necessarily able to process everything that's going on, process personnel in such quick manners. And then Steph, boom, little change of pace, shows his eyes, boom, gets an easy two. Easy lay. And now they went to the zone, right? They went to the zone for not too much, a couple possessions. But anytime you play zone, you've got to have hands. Every player has to show their hands. Because you'll face a player like Luka, you'll face a good passer, and they'll try to thread that needle in super quick. Super quick. And if you don't have active hands, that ball will get through. But if you do, you'll be able to stop it. So, Anthony Lamb right here on this play. One, Christian Wood gets in front of him. And two, he's not really active in those lanes. He's not really paying attention to it and whatnot. So, boom, Lucas sees that, threads that needle right in there. Because he doesn't have to worry about somebody trying to pick that pass off. Hey, you need to start taking your attacking drills more serious. Your driving drills in practice, take them a little more serious. Because you'll find yourself in situations like this in a game where it's like, oh, I could go downhill. I could go get a bucket. But then you end up traveling because you're so used to not really caring about your footwork. And the thing is about the footwork, your refs are looking at your feet every single time you catch the ball. They're looking at it every single time. So if you sit in there, boom, you catch the ball, you rip, and you're gonna begin to replicate those habits that you do in practice into the game. So now you're just leaving up empty buckets or scoring opportunities that you could have had if you just sharpened up on your reps that you did in practice. And I advise you not to do it in your individual time, but when you're in team practice time, where you're doing these little drills, these attacking drills, whatever you're doing, take that time serious so you don't have to use your own time to work on those things like that. You can do better things with that time. So boom, right here, Golden State. 0-20 this season at the end of the first quarter when trailing on the road. That is insane. 0-20, bro. They can be down by 1 point. They still lost. 2 points, still lost. 0-20 when they trail the first quarter. That's sad. That's sad, but does this mean Golden State may be turning the corner? They might. We'll see in time. Now right here. Good pass. That was a good pass. Where did they find that angle? But jump into Hardy, you get a foul, you go to the free throw line, you get 2 free throws. I know this is an unselfish play to make. Your player's wide open, but sometimes it's like, okay, should I take the easy 2 or should I kick out for the open 3? And me personally, how I see this, regardless of the statistics of today's game, regardless of how it's played, taking the 2. And on top of that, Steph hasn't really gotten any shots up. He's gotten 1 shot up throughout this entire game thus far. So boom, take it. Get yourself to the free throw line, knock down a couple free throws, get yourself feeling a little good so then you're ready to go knock down some shots when you get the opportunity to do so. That Moody, boom, miss. You know, you can't really say either one is the wrong play to make. Oh my gosh, the gravity. In transition too, this is when you should communicate the most. On top of the fact that you're already playing Stephen Curry, and then you're already getting back in transition, this should make you already say, hey, we got to make sure we communicate every single time. We can't be lacking. But then boom, teams still find themselves lacking. Every time. It doesn't matter what team they're playing, what series they're playing, it always happens. So the amount of gravity Steph has is literally the engine, the fuel of their whole entire offense. It could carry them to maybe even make a run at the playoffs. Despite them being bad on the road, they could still find themselves possibly being able to win a couple games and win a series. That's why I say just not reach on those plays. Do not reach on those. Do not reach on those. You will not get it. It's just bait. And so this really does hurt Steph too, though, because he gets to switch on to Luka. And it's not like he gets put in bad positioning. Luka blows right by him. Steph does what he needs to do. He forces him to the help. And after that, they're going to force Luka to kick that ball out. And Luka will probably end up making this kick to the corner or trying to read Powell. One of these two he's going to end up doing. So boom. You get into this position where he should end up having to make a pass. And then you foul him, and now he goes to the free throw line instead of having to throw a pass across the court to the corner, which it probably would have been on this play because Kuminga was caught up with Powell. and then getting your defense in rotation, getting the ball out of Luka's hands, which is the one goal you want to do.
And just keep doing your best. You cannot foul him and lunge at him.
Now Kuminga had 20. Kuminga had 20. A lot of it was off of cuts, but he knocked down a few jumpers too. And if Kuminga gets a jumper, Kuminga would get 20 mil a year. If he gets a jumper. If he gets a jumper, I promise you he could get 20 mil a year. He shoots like what, 36, 37% from the three? For sure he could get about 20 mil in today's NBA. Damn, hey bro. Luka said fuck that shit. Luka said fuck that shit. Look. There was neck and neck at one point. Luka said, hell nah, I ain't doing that shit. Hell no, I ain't keeping up with him. I ain't gonna waste my energy. Magic, boom. 2 3-point attempts. Boom. Misses. It's 51-51 right now. 51 up right now at this point in the game, right? Golden State is 5 for 20 from the 3-point line. Yet it's still 51-51. Their whole offense thus far has been fueled by Steph and Klay's gravity. Easy slips, easy cuts, all it is. And that's why I still feel their offense is what's consistently still going to be effective. And it's just a matter of will they be, like every other year it is, the turnovers. Will they be able to get the stops? And most importantly, will they get Wiggins back? That's the big question. And I feel like if they get Wiggins back, that may solve some road problems that they have. Now I want you to repeat this. As he got that ball at the floor, notice Luka. Notice Luka. He's pointing. He's saying, get that ball to the other side. I got DiVincenzo, throw it to me in the post, right? But he doesn't do that approach. He doesn't follow what Luka says. And the thing is, if you're going to get yourself in a situation like this, where you see one thing like Hardy does here, he sees an opportunity to go and attack. His defender's backpedaling. He has the speed. He's good at finishing at the rim. And then you have another option of swinging that ball over and getting it to Luka doing what he says. You got to make sure you make your decision assertively. You got to just go. Whatever you want to do. Don't think about it. Don't hesitate. Don't get caught in one spot, because the second that you will hesitate may be the time that your defender may be able to get back and get set, instead of have them backpedal by the time you get to your range. So that's for this situation specifically. But in general, if you see multiple opportunities, multiple options, make sure you're assertive with your decision that you're going to make. If you're going to throw that pass, you're trying to throw that needle, try to thread the needle, do it to the best of your ability, because hesitation will not allow you to do it to your best of your ability. That Hardy, boom, he sees something else, he goes and attacks, and then boom, you see Luka, he's like, yeah, come on, let's go. Good attack. We need buckets. I don't want to have to do everything myself. Good take. And he had like, what, 26 on the night? Pete Looney right here. So now when you play this drop, you can't move according to the ball handler. You got to move according to that screener. Because if that screener gets behind you, you're cooked. You're done, like he was right here. So instead of stepping up and waiting for Luka to get to a spot, he's got to still see Powell and realize that Powell's leaving, and then continue to drop back with Powell so that you can take away this roll. But now he takes literally that one step up. Notice it. He was like 1 or 2 steps up too late. Boom, right there. His feet are stuck in the mud. He's done. Now he's trying to backpedal and jump. If he tried to try to get a hand on that, try to tip that, he would have got dunked on. He would have got dunked on. Hey, that's so tough. That's so tough. Luka's ability to change his pace on the strides when he's attacking the rim is so tough. Boom. And notice, because he times his strides, he slows it down, and then since he slows it down, he's able to time it, boom, and then as you're going up into your jump, because you're thinking he's going fast, but he slowed it down. So now you're going up, and he's still taking that last stride. He gets on that foot, about to go up. Now you're coming down. He gets into you. He goes up. Now it's not even a contest. He's just getting hit. Now he's just got to make sure he keeps his balance and gets a good look up.
And he banks it in, plus a foul. Body contact, the whistle, and here comes Dallas. Down 3, 5.5 to go. Holiday has it poked away from behind.
Hold on. Peep this right here in transition. You see the options, right? I know y'all must see the options right now, right? Y'all see the options. You got Holiday, and then you got Christian Wood running down the middle. Basketball has changed. Basketball has changed to the point where players get the ball in transition. Their first thought is to get that ball swinging. What's good, Fusion? Their first thought to get that ball in transition is to get that ball swinging to get a 3. Wood is right here about to run down this lane wide open. Draymond Green still moving left. Christian Wood's got nobody. Klay Thompson's coming up from his left side. Kuminga's not pinched in. Wood's going down that lane. Boom. You may get a dunk or something. That's an easy 2. That's an easy 2. But basketball, I guess, has just changed. And they don't want to get the easy 2s. They're out to gamble and take that 3. Me personally, I ain't rocking with it. I don't know about y'all, but I ain't rocking with it. That's great hands by Draymond. This shit like this be funny, bro. First things first, let's talk about this steal. Anytime you see Draymond playing that screener, you see Draymond always get his hands active, always clog up those lanes. And he did that. He emphasized that so much playing against Boston last year in the finals, if you didn't peep. Anytime they try to get these slips, boom, Draymond, you seen his hands go up high because they always try to throw that lob pass. Draymond's hands always ready in these positions, right? Always ready. But he's not so good at the finishing part of things, you know? Not so good at that stuff. Then another miss. Hey, they had some crazy sequences in this game. God damn, bro. And then he missed the alley-oop, bro. Shaq in the full, bro. Shaq in the full. God damn, he's sizing. That was filthy. That was filthy. Hold on. That was filthy. I ain't gonna lie. Jordan Poole was picking on Luka bad. He was picking on Luka bad. Like, you've seen him multiple times, at least 5 possessions throughout this game. Poole attacked Luka, and at least 3 of them he was able to score on him. At least 3. Then boom, his size ups. So now this makes me want to ask y'all, if we're gonna say best player in basketball, best player in the world, if a player can't guard, could they be the best player? Because there's tons of players who play offense extremely well and defend extremely well. Whereas you got players like Luka, players like Jokic, who play offense extremely well, high output, right? But they can't guard. And so when we're talking about best player in the world, who's the best player, all around skill set, not just one thing, all around as a complete player, can we say someone's the best when they're a liability on defense? To me, they could be super high on my list, but I don't know if they could be that number 1. Because there will still be those players like Giannis or like a KD who could give you a shit ton on offense and still give you a ton on defense. Or like an Embiid who could guard a little bit, or a Braun, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to balancing that stuff out, I don't know how much people factor in defense. But to me personally, I don't know. I can't put somebody who's a liability on defense, somebody who's the focal point of attack, and say that they're the best player in the world. That's to me though. Once again, attacking Luka. This one doesn't end up in a bucket, but it could have. Peep Kuminga on this slip, right? And also Pete Poole in his timing on this pass. That's that dribble right before that one. You see that dribble right before that one? Let's go back right quick. Hang this. Gotta hang this a little longer. Because you see Luka coming up on this hard hedge. He's about to show. So you know you're going to have this pass over the top or the pass to Kuminga slipping. However way you're going to get it there, that's how you're going to try to get the ball there. So if you take that extra dribble, you're literally one dribble too late. Now you got to protect yourself. You got to regather yourself to now throw this pass once again. And so now, boom, he has to make this spin. Kuminga kind of backs away from that middle. But I don't think Kuminga should have backed away from that middle. Because if you maintain yourself in this middle, you got Wood coming over. And then you do the same thing that Draymond's been doing for years. Where he catches this ball in the middle. And then he takes one dribble, reads this help, reads to see if the player's going to step up, and reads that other side to see if that player's going to pinch in on the player in the short corner. Or you can just kick it out to the player in the deep corner for a 3. That's all you have to do in this position. It's not really so much about scoring. You don't have to get baited into shooting the jumper and whatnot. You just got to make the read on this player right here to see if you'll be able to get this drop down or you'll be able to get this kick to the corner. So that's where he's got to stay in the middle. And boom, you'll still be able to capitalize in the situation. Because boom, he drops deep corner. That's a long closeout for Josh Green. Long closeout. Kuminga try to get his own bucket. and go so well. Clay. Peep Clay, right? Let's peep Clay. So boom. Clay's got to kind of change his perspective a little bit in these situations right here, especially with a player like Luka, because he's gonna come over and he's gonna try to read you, but you shouldn't let him read you, because if you're the person that's making that first move, who's showing him what you're committing to, he's just gonna throw to the other one. So if you're a player in the situation, it's gonna be hard to pick this pass off regardless. It's gonna be super hard to pick this pass off regardless of where he throws it to. So in this help defense right here, he's gotta wait on Luka to see where Luka throws it to. So now he can get that step ahead and get that closeout. So Pete, boom. Instead of trying to sit there and kind of wait right there, you got to get yourself in position, get yourself ready to go out and close instead of trying to make this steal. Because really, it's that steal attempt right there that slows him down and doesn't allow him to get back to that corner. Hey, peep Josh Green on this, though. I always say this. You can't try to beat somebody to the screen. You got to lead somebody to the screen. You try to beat somebody to the screen, they're going to reject it, and the player that's playing the screener is not playing that side that they're rejecting to, so now they got a whole open lane to go and attack the rim. So don't try to beat somebody to the screen, especially when you're playing a good player, a good ball handler, a good player in the pick and roll. They're going to easily reject this every time. Every time they're going to reject it. And then boom, they're going to have a wide open lane to the rim. Wide open. Be able to change directions. Couldn't look for Steph. He missed it. Lamb got it back though, but I want you to peep Bullock. Notice how they guarded this inbound, right? Notice how they guarded it. They got Bullock on the top side, and they got Luka on the bottom. And they're most likely going to end up switching. Regardless of what happens, they're going to end up switching this. Because you're not going to put Luka on Steph. You're straight up not going to put Luka on Steph, right? So boom. The thing is that the reason Steph got so open is because Bullock decided to get his arms engaged into Lamb. When if you know you're switching, you cannot get yourself engaged physically, because getting engaged physically will slow down your speed and your ability to get to where you want to. 'Cause it's just going to slow you down. You're holding on to somebody. So he's got to enter this action instead of worrying so much about slowing down Lamb and trust that Luka's going to be able to get back to where he needs to on the switch. Is worry about Steph, because now this whole lane is open to make that pass. And then boom, Lamb gets a rebound and one. Luka didn't get where he needs to, but if you're like your Bullock in your situation, you just got to make sure you do what you need to do. You can't control what he does. Hey, Luka tried to draw a foul right there. He tried to draw a foul, but he ain't get it. People stepped it. As he entered this bump, he did not bump with his forearm with his hand on him. He took that bump straight up with his chest. And by doing it with the chest, he brings his arms back, and Luka can't find any arms. So now, boom, Luka's already going up. He's just going to try to get a shot up, because he was trying to find arms with this move, as we see him do every single night. Does this every night, the same move. Boom, tries to find arms. Boom, goes up into a shot, gets a foul. But Steph does a really good job of taking that bump straight on. And not even does he just take the bump alone, he takes it well. He doesn't allow him to create even more space. He actually leads Luka into a fadeaway. And that shows you Steph actually has some strength. You may be like, oh, he's super small, but take a bump like this from a player like Luka is not an easy thing to do. Then Poole, once again, attacking Luka. He was killing him. He was cooking him. Bro. He was cooking him. He was attacking him. He was not scared to do so. You got Luka playing in the drop, and damn, Luka can't even get a hand up, bro. Luka can't even get a hand up. Once again, attacking Luka. This is when they went on a little run. Boom, up 8. Before this, boom, they hit another bucket, but they was up 8. This Jordan Poole attacking Luka.
Thompson coming off the screen. Looney fires to Kuminga.
Kuminga be flying, bro. It's players like Kuminga that inspire me to get my bounce. They inspired me to make sure to get myself to get some bounce, bro. I don't jump as nearly as high as Kuminga, of course, but I jump high enough to where it feels like I be flying sometimes. So the players like that inspire me. You just watch them, it's like, damn, they be soaring. They be like Like, look at it. That's ridiculous. Off 2, off 1. Like you seen before. Like, this is ridiculous. But boom, peep the rotations though. Peep the rotations. And I want to go back to this action right here. Now, boom. You got the switch. Josh Green is a little late. Now, this is kind of hard to think of in time. Like, in the speed of a game. This is something you got to kind of drill yourself through like practice and whatnot, as to see give and go opportunities. Because you see Kuminga rised up right here, and you see a clean lane to throw this pass. Now, you could see this right here, too, and be like, okay, you can just lob this over the top. You can still catch that. But if he catches that, boom, then you got Luka pinching in. You got Luka pinching in on Lamb, rolling to the rim, so now you got to kick it out to Kuminga, who's not the player you want to shoot. So, how could you be able to get the ball to Lamb and still allow for Lamb to have a good look at the rim? Boom, you hit Kuminga, takes Luka out, then Kuminga hits Lamb as he dives to the rim. And then Kleber's coming over from this left side, and then boom, jump into him, contact, now you have the right side to finish. But boom, regardless, even though they missed that, their offense is so fluid, they still find a way to get find another look. And then boom, Peter's backside rotation with Luka and Josh Green. At that point, you see Luka already telling him, why don't you come all the way over? So it's really, do you want to give up a 2? Which is, you don't want to give up a 2. Or do you just want to allow Lamb to shoot a 3? Because nobody's making that long-ass closeout if this ball gets kicked to Lamb. Like, it's a clean look. So boom, you got to take away this 2 from Kuminga. Because that's a sure thing. Something's gonna go down. It's a sure thing. Boom, comes in, gets a dunk. And boom, Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy was supposed to be a top pick. You realize that Jaden Hardy was supposed to be a top pick. He was supposed, like, the year when he finished high school, was coming into the league. He was supposed to be like top 3. But boom, ain't have a good year at the G League. And I'm pretty sure it was really just a learning curve because the skill is there. The skill is there. There's a reason why he was projected to go number 1 the year he came out. But it's a whole different game from high school. It's a whole different, especially going from high school to like G League. That's still that's a completely different game, level of competition, all that stuff. Because you don't pay as near much of attention to detail playing in high school as you do playing in G League, which is pro, and then especially playing in the NBA. So some players have that dropout, some players don't. It depends how quick you learn things. And for Jaden Hardy, it seems as of lately, throughout this time just being in the league, he's been able to actually learn the game. You don't got to question the skill. His talent, the talent's there. It's just about, do you get a player like this who wants to actually learn the game and get better so they can utilize their talents in this game? And that's really a big question for a lot of players, because some players get into the league and now they like, okay, I'm just in the league now. My goal is to make this league. I made it in the league. Forget all the nuances and the details of basketball and whatnot. They just take their money as it is what it is. But it's not no knock on them. Going back to Jaden Hardy, he's learning the game, and now you're starting to see him get 20 pieces back to back and whatnot with players missing, utilizing his opportunity. Because this whole time he was sitting back, putting in the work, but learning the game, so that once he does get an opportunity like this, he's like, okay, I could take advantage of this opportunity.
Driving, spinning, kicking.
Boom, another knockdown. Another knockdown.
Right at 113, inside 5 minutes to go. Kuminga on the cut again with the
Once again, I told you, Poole was attacking him. He was not scared to. He was not scared to attack him at all.
113 inside 5
Not at all.
minutes to go.
Or now, that was Steph now. But still, Luke is still getting attacked.
Again with the
Boom, Kuminga, easy 2.
on the night. Green to the corner. DiVincenzo lets it fly.
Now peep this. Peep this. Peep this. All right.
On the cut.
So this chase right here. This chase right here. Steph Gravity once again. Steph Gravity once again. But I feel Bullock could do a better job of chasing Steph over this top so Wood doesn't have to come all the way over and see that there's so much space and he may be able to get a 3 off. So boom. Just get all the way over to that top side. You get yourself shifted all the way over to that top side, right? Now you're just make sure you're covering everything that goes to the 3. But now this makes you think, okay, what if he gets a slip right here? What if he gets a slip right here to the rim? But that's when Jaden Hardy comes over and gets all the way over on this nail so that you could be able to stop any passes that come through. Jaden Hardy has to step up. And then Christian Wood can be able to do what he needs to do with Draymond. and stay in his position. And now you're gonna see after this possession, Josh Green do a good job of chasing over the top of this screen. That right there is how you do it. That right there. That right there is how you do it. That right there. Notice. He stayed on that top side. You got the Steph. Boom. He was on that outside shoulder. Or he was on his inside shoulder, flipped it, but he was still really staying on that outside in a sense. You know what I'm saying? He was just trailing him. He was shadowing him. So boom. And boom. Hardy, late shot clock chance. Doesn't get a good look up. This is another crazy sequence. And then another two. Block. I'm gonna let this go. And boom. Missed. Like at this point, calm. Like you ain't see Steph get it. Gotta bring it down. You see DiVincenzo hands. Control the pace. It's going too fast right now. It's too scrambled. You got to control the pace. And this is the one I really want to talk about. Boom. You see Draymond stepping over from that right side of the rim. From that right side, right? See him stepping over. So now, if you're coming down here in this transition, it's not really a smart thing just to go into Draymond. You got to find your angles to be able to use that rim, use the backboard to get your leg. So boom, he hits Draymond, but Draymond's such a disciplined defender, he maintains his verticality. He's vertical. And so now he tries to get to the middle, bump, and finish at the middle of the rim. Whereas he has this whole left side. He has a whole left side. Look. He has that whole left side. Get yourself to his left side, not this middle, because that's where Draymond's coming from. I know you want to get contact, but there's times you don't have to get the contact, because Draymond's trying to come here and go vertical, and you go to that left, he's going to have to jump from A to B to be able to get something on you. So boom, he misses that. Hey, the little underrated part about this play right here, the screen. Notice that Draymond just stands in one spot and allows Steph to maneuver and guide himself around Draymond so that he could use the screen. Notice. He just waited there. Allowed Steph to find him. And then when Steph found him, when Steph made that hit, boom, he went down and rolled to the rim. A lot of players like to get in the situation right here, see a moving defender, and begin to move. But it's really on the ball handler to allow themselves to lead that defender into the screen, whereas the screener trying to hit that defender. Because if you try to hit the defender as a screener, offensive foul. Draymond rolls, boom, and one. Anytime Draymond gets a bucket, you're going to hear him. Now, this was a smart attack. Because they had possessions before this where they had Bullock on Steph, but he was doing a really good job defending these ball screens. So instead of coming up to the half court and saying, okay, let's just go and attack Reggie Bullock with Reggie Bullock on Steph, they said, first, let's get this switch. Let's get Reggie Bullock off of Steph. Reggie Bullock, who's good at guarding these ball screens, got Kleber on to Steph. Somebody that the Mavs are willing to switch on to Steph. But although they're willing to switch him on to Steph, he's not as good as a ball screen defender as Reggie Bullock is. So boom, now Steph is able to reject these screens, able to find his angles, get to where he wants to. Because he has Kleber on him instead of Reggie Bullock on him. Because Reggie Bullock was doing a good job of forcing him to where they want him to go. And Draymond got down there, clears out Bullock. Now he has a wide open two. Now boom, they're down 3. Go for the 2. I ain't gonna lie, this is the second time Luka's done missed a shot underneath the rim late in the game. Now this wouldn't have won in the game, of course, they're down 3. But this is a shot he took. Like that Phoenix game. These games be close. These shots be huge. You at least want to give yourself a chance. But he ended up missing this. He had Draymond on him. Maybe they're trying to go for a 3. They just want to get this ball in, take whatever they had because Draymond was top guarding. So boom, Luka gets down here. Draymond stays fairly vertical. No call. And boom. And literally, this is the last bucket. And had Bullock not hit this shot right here, I don't think they'll have been able to protest the game because they lost by 2 points, and that possession that they had before that cost them was 2 points in that third quarter. So if you didn't hit this bucket, they would not be able to protest. But the game was within 2 points within the margin of error of the referee. So, boom, they're protesting out. And I'm curious as to what they're going to say about it. So,